What's going on, everybody? Justin here with From Zero to Studio, and today we're talking guitars and why I believe you should be recording your guitars direct. Let's discuss. So here's an electric guitar part, and this is the amp track. Let me play a little bit of that for you. So it just kind of comes across as this big blob of a waveform. And yes, with this part specifically, because we have those picking parts, you can see some of those notes and where they're attacked at. But when it comes time to editing this part, it's going to be a lot more difficult than if you could see every single pick attack and transient clearly. So that's why even if you're recording a live amp, which I love when given the opportunity, I always suggest that you record a direct track to go along with it. Take a look at that same part right above here with the direct track. So if you needed to quantize any of this, or you needed to splice some parts in and do some comping to take a part from a different take, you could easily see where each of these notes are at. Maybe I knew that this was a bad note right here. I could go in there and I could just splice that out and fill it with another note. However, if I was looking down at this track here, yeah, I can see kind of this bubble right here, but it makes it a lot harder to see exactly where I should be slicing at. I know it's going to be somewhere around in this area, but let's see how accurate I was to those spots above. So I was off a little bit there. And if I did place that cut there on the amp track, I'm going to be losing some important information from that guitar track, mostly that pick attack. So regardless if you're recording a live amp or not, maybe you just have your direct guitar and you're going to be using an amp sim afterwards, or maybe you're recording that direct guitar and you're going to reamp it later with a live amp, or you might even be recording the direct track and the live amp simultaneously. Just having that direct guitar track is going to make life so much easier when it comes to any editing you have to do. Plus, on top of that, let's say you did need to do some time alignment with these parts. When you start stretching or condensing a live amp track that was recorded with a microphone, you start to get noticeable artifacts in the track. It changes the sound, it makes it sound a little warbly. But if you're time aligning the direct guitar track that hasn't yet gone into the amp, you can stretch that note quite a bit without having any noticeable artifacts in that amp track. So let's go ahead and take this note right here, and we're going to cut this on both the amp and the direct track. And we're going to cut it at this next note. And let's just get rid of everything else after that for the time being. Maybe you only need to bring this over just a little bit to extend the length of that note. Let's go ahead and listen to the live amp track first. And here's the direct track with the amp sim on. So comparing that to the live amp, the direct track sounds a bit more natural while the amp track sounds a bit more synthetic. Listen to that again. So that there just shows that you do have some additional flexibility when you're time aligning guitar parts or have to stretch any parts out to fill a void. Maybe the next guitar chord came in just a little bit early, and so when you time align the parts, it left a gap in between the two notes. Or maybe you need to extend the tail of a guitar ring out at the end of a song so it doesn't cut too early. In either of those cases, stretching the direct guitar track is going to give you a much more usable result than trying to stretch the amp track. And if that was the case and you only had the live amp track that you had to do this time alignment to, you're going to have a much more difficult time trying to keep everything sounding natural and finding the spots you have to make your slices. Once you finish your edits on this direct guitar track, you could choose an amp sim or take it and feed it back through your live amp and reamp it that way. This is also going to give you the opportunity with your live amp to change your settings on the fly and see what tone really fits the song. So as you see, having a direct guitar track, even if you plan on using a live amp, is going to make the entire post-tracking process much easier. It'll increase your editing speed and efficiency and your accuracy, which is going to provide you with better results. I've had projects sent in with just an amp track, and it can easily take twice as long for any required editing. So the next time you're planning on recording guitars, be sure to capture a DI track to go with it. Now, as you're working on improving your recording and mixing skills, if you want a guide that'll walk you through every step of the process from songwriting and recording up through mixing and mastering, you can download the Roadmap to a Radio-Ready Song. This guide covers 5 steps that'll help you take your song from sounding like a demo to sounding pro, and you can download it absolutely free as my gift to you by going to FromZeroToStudio.com/roadmap or by clicking the link below in the description, and you can start improving how you're creating and capturing your music. That's all I've got for you today. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing. I'll see you on another video soon.